This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. Hey guys, Big Paul here today, and we are going to talk about the riskiest part of bodybuilding. It's not off season, it's not pushing your weight up, it is contest prep. And if you look at when people usually tend to drop over or have issues or do damage to themselves, it's contest prep. And we're going to dig into it all today. I'm going to talk about what the risks are of contest prep in just 1 second. So you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to compete. One of the things that I try to tell people before they compete is to know what you're getting into, and contest prep is brutal. It's the riskiest part of bodybuilding. It's the part of bodybuilding that probably, in my opinion, I don't have science to back this up, but puts the most stress on your body and probably does the most amount of cumulative damage. And an example to give you to shed some light on this is think about powerlifters and strongmen. They essentially take the same anabolics and a lot of the same PEDs that bodybuilders do, but they're not falling over dead like bodybuilders do prepping for contests. They don't seem to have the long-term issues that bodybuilders do. And I speculate the reason why is because of the stress of contest prep. When you're on contest prep, you're putting a lot of extra stress on your body with the diet, with cardio. You're doing a shit ton of cardio, and you're in a depleted state while you're doing all of this. And getting below sub 10% body fat, unless you're a genetic freak, is really fucking difficult. And it's really hard on your body. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, getting down there, you feel awful. You feel like shit when you get that lean. Even if you do it naturally, you feel like shit. It's not a pleasant place to be, and it's not really a healthy place to be for most people. Now, with that said, there are some people genetically that are predisposed to being lean. They're genetically programmed to be super lean, below 10% body fat. I am not one of those people, and 95% of the world's population are not those types of people. So if you're not that type of person, pushing yourself below where your normal homeostatic point is extremely difficult and hard on your body. So we think about bodybuilders and what really kills bodybuilders. Most of the time, it's chronically, it's cardiovascular disease and kidney disease is what gets bodybuilders chronically. Acutely, it's cardiovascular events and most of the time it's just heart attacks, strokes, pulmonary embolism, that type of stuff, clotting. Those are the things that usually get bodybuilders acutely. When you die with no warning, no other health issues, it's usually those issues. And you think about it with contest prep, when you're down at the very end of contest prep, you already have thickened blood. Most people that run anabolics are going to have higher hematocrit. You already have thickened blood from running the anabolics. You're in a dehydrated state at the end of contest prep because a lot of times people drop water. Sometimes they do stupid shit like sodium manipulation, which is really dumb. And you pile diuretics in on top of it, and you're just asking to have a heart attack or some sort of cardiovascular event, or causing some sort of serious kidney damage long term for a couple days. There are things you can do to mitigate this, and I've tried to be smarter with contest prep. I don't use diuretics. I did a little bit of diuretics. This is the first time this year I did a little bit of diuretics at the end of my contest prep. I think I used half of HCTZ, hydrochlorothiazide. And I honestly don't think it made me look better. It made me look worse. And most of the time when people take diuretics at the end of prep, it's to make up for not being in shape. They're trying to get themselves a little bit leaner because they didn't get all the body fat off. If you have all your body fat off and you do it properly through a diet, then you don't have the issues with water retention. Most people I've seen, you don't need to run a diuretic if you are in shape. It's usually the people that are trying to make up for not being in shape that use diuretics. I also see where I see diuretics abused the most are in female competitors. And I speculate that's why you've seen so many female competitors go down. And they're smaller human beings, and there's a lower margin of error with women when it comes to that type of stuff. And I've seen some female competitors do some really crazy stuff with taking diuretics a few days out from a show or starting them a week out from a show. I've heard of things like that. I typically do not work with female competitors, so I'm not that intimately familiar with what the protocols that females run, but that's what I've heard. So I have personally never prepped a female competitor for a show, so I honestly don't know what happens at the end, but that's what I've heard. So contest prep, one of the big things you can do to mitigate risk on contest prep, I would think, is to just not use diuretics and to be really careful with your electrolyte manipulation. To keep your sodium static throughout the whole contest and just pull a little water at the end. Make sure you're being safe. And I've seen it backstage before. If you feel like you're going to die, if you're not feeling right, don't be a knucklehead and try to push through. At a local show, your Mr. Wichita, Kansas, or whatever is not worth dying for. So if you're backstage, you don't feel well, get yourself some help. I just don't understand it. I saw a guy at the show I competed at this year that was shaking, and I know 100% what happened. I didn't even have to look at it, talk to him to know what happened. He was not in shape. He kept complaining about being thirsty. And he was back there shaking and trembling and couldn't even hold a pose when he was trying to warm up. And he kept talking about being thirsty. I'm like, dude, get a fucking IV. There's paramedics right here. Just punch out of the show. You don't need to go out there. And he was not in shape. And my guess, I'm just speculating here, is that he probably took a bunch of fucking diuretics the day before to get himself ready for the show. And then he ended up being a mess at the show. I don't know what happened to him. I'm assuming he made it out all right. I didn't hear anything negative about it, but I did see him backstage drinking some water before he went out to do his posing routine. I didn't see his posing routine because I was backstage. But if you're in a situation like that, you find yourself in a situation like that, or you see someone in a situation like that, don't let them go out on the stage. The NPC guy, when I was there, and they were really good about it this year. This is the first time I've ever heard anybody say this, and he said before anybody went out on stage, he said, a show is not worth dying for. If you don't feel good, you feel dehydrated, the paramedics are here, whatever, get yourself some help. And they seem to be policing that stuff pretty well at this last show that I did. I had not seen that before backstage. They had paramedics back there. They had an NPC official back there that was checking people out. I think there needs to be more of that done. But just be careful in contest prep. When you get down to that last few weeks, you're not thinking clearly. Fucking weird shit can happen and things can go sideways quick. If you're feeling off, go to the doctor, get some help. Don't wait for your coach to tell you what to do. If you don't feel good, you know your body better than your coach does. Or if you don't have a coach, whatever. Make sure you get some help. All right, guys, that's all I got on this one. It's been on my mind with all the stuff that's been in the news lately about competitors and contest prep. I really love bodybuilding. Bodybuilding has been a very positive thing in my life, and I hate seeing it attacked like it's being attacked right now. And it's from just a few people doing stupid shit, and we can be better about this stuff. So be smart on contest prep. Be safe. If you're going to compete, know what you're getting yourself into. Know the risks that are associated with it. And if you don't want to take those risks, don't compete. It's that simple. Nobody says you have to go out and compete. And nobody says you have to do the things that you have to do. There's certain people that push things too hard, and it's just unnecessary. You really don't need to do... Most of the time I see people push themselves further than what they need to. And a lot of times you just end up looking worse when you do that. You just do. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'm interested to hear your take on this one, and thank you for watching my channel. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.